Hi, I'm Mina Malik Hussain and you're watching The Coffee Table. Now, I know I always tell you we have an interesting show, but this show is so much fun and it's full of girl power. I'm really excited, as you can tell. So, you know, when we talk about entrepreneurs, you always think of somebody in an office and somebody with a briefcase and somebody who's like doing businessy things in a businessy environment. But today we've got two entrepreneurs on set who are taking the world by storm and who are the pioneers of a brave new world. So joining us today are Momina Sibtain, the founder of Momina's Mixed Plate, and Haiya Bokhari, a stylist. Hello, girls.
Hi.
Welcome to the
Thanks
set.
for having us.
Hi. So great having you guys here.
Thank you
for
for having
us. Such good energy on this sofa. Yeah. And I'm also a bit intimidated, Momina, I have to say, because you're a pro at this. So I'm like, let me host the host. How will this be?
It's kind of nice being on the other side of the table.
You know, the receiver. You can just relax and be like,
natural, like
mic
totally
me
chill.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Like no questions to look at, nothing. Like relaxed.
You know, just chilling like villains, drinking our coffee.
I know I'm going to take a sip of that, then I'm going to get wired up.
This is the aim. So, Momina, tell me, you've been in the fashion industry for a long time now. You're seasoned. But you started Momina's Mixed Plate a little over a year ago.
Yes.
So tell us about that. I know it's a YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
So it's like a lifestyle and entertainment and a platform. Is that the correct terminology?
Yes. So basically, I launched a company that creates content.
Okay.
So I create content within fashion, lifestyle, and entertainment. So I work with brands that want content created in that within that genre, but also kind of not making it look so
Contrived.
Not contrived, even that it's like an advertorial. Like it could be paid for content, but you will never know that it's paid for.
Right.
So the whole idea was to even bring a fresh take to even interviewing celebrities, because people would like, it was like the same kind of questions that were coming up, and like we were like, okay, what do we do? So we were kind of looking at the shows that I've watched growing up.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to experiment with that, and I have a degree in acting and all, and I loved being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And I love talking. So the thing is, I love to talk.
Wonderful combination. You are
I love to
natural.
talk, and I love people. So it kind of like, my friends were, after my life was so long that, you know, you should do something with it. You should do something with it. And then I think it took me a while to kind of formulate how I wanted to go about it. But then my company is registered under a different name.
Right. And that's
this is a
really
subsidiary
important.
of it.
Like, to my mind, this is really important, that there is an existing company. This is where the entrepreneurial spirit comes in, is that you are a business.
Yes.
And your business is being run in this very singular way. And I feel like this is like the new wave of employment and self-employment, and that whole, again, entrepreneurial thing is to sort of come up with an idea that's entirely unique and then make it happen. Like, it's a proper enterprise. You know, it's not just that, oh, I just videoed myself one day and put it up on the internet.
It took a lot of time, effort, and a lot of money.
Yes.
It was a lot of investment that I had to put down, and it was like, I mean, I didn't have an investor. I put down, you know, literally my own money.
Oh my gosh, you smashed your piggy bank.
Yeah, literally smashed my piggy bank and a lot more to set up a studio, get the equipment, set up a team there. And then when I started individual-based YouTube channels, there weren't any with women in this genre.
And especially with women.
No, and in
or just
this,
anybody.
No, in fashion, lifestyle, entertainment combined, you would have like maybe a blog doing something in video, but there was nobody who had like a proper setup.
Yeah.
So going into it was also like, you know, like you see a model, okay, there's a model that's already existing.
Right.
And okay, this is how it's working, and you kind of take it on. You had to kind of develop the model. So you had to kind of see the market and understand it. So it took me a year. So like, and Haiya will stand testament to it, because for about a year and a half, like, she kept asking me that,
where is it?
Where is it? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'll tell
project.
you. Guys, this is like a secret project. Yeah,
Can't say this.
Her and my other friend, Mehek, they're my friends from the fashion industry.
Yes.
And we met through that, and then obviously became friends. And, you know, we always exchange ideas. So for a while, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, Mehek, what do I say to you? Because I haven't formulated it, and I'm still trying to work out the mechanics, because understanding the YouTube algorithm, and then obviously setting up an entire operation from scratch.
Single-handedly. And then if you are the driving vision behind it, so you do have a team now. But you are the one who provides the vision, who's scripting each show,
of course, like getting
each segment.
Granted, I can't work without my team, because I don't know how to do video, I don't know how to do editing, I don't, like, that stuff I don't know how to do, but I can do content.
Yeah. And
You
that's
know?
your forte.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say
Okay, I don't want to
forte.
limit you.
Not even forte.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's something I enjoy doing. So it's not something that, oh, I'm an expert at creating content. I enjoy creating it, and I'm kind of just bring my own flavor to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, oh, but like people are going to take up this idea. I was like, people can take up any idea. They can't take up your personality.
Absolutely.
They
And-
can't take your perspective away from you.
Yes, and your vision, and that's what makes you unique. So, Haiya, you have a literature background,
Yes.
but you are a stylist.
Yes,
So, what does that
absolutely.
entail? Because you know, when people think, I'm like, what is a stylist? For those of us who don't know what it is.
So,
All the boys watch.
a stylist is someone who takes, so basically she's the art director for your look. What you wear says a lot about you.
Yes.
Even if you're someone who's very unbothered or nonplussed by fashion, that in itself is a statement. So when you go out wearing like a pair of pajamas and like a ratty old shirt, it is saying something about you and how you choose to not conform to societal
Yes.
standards or whatever it is.
So there's always some thought going on there.
Absolutely.
Even being like, I don't care about fashion.
Absolutely,
is
that in
also
itself is a statement.
A statement.
You
It's
know?
a position that you
Yeah. So as a stylist, my job is to take the vision that, say, the director or the producer has, or the talent has, and whatever requirements of the project that need to be met, right? Because usually there's a client, if there's a commercial, or if it's a film, then there's a particular character that you have to convey.
Yeah.
And then keeping all those parameters in mind, I design a look that can best convey it. Also kind of incorporating my own my own flair or my own style, right?
Yeah.
Because like with Momina's thing, like she said, every stylist has their own kind of signature,
Yeah.
right? So my stacking is something that people generally notice, and they'll be able to pinpoint, okay, so like if someone's wearing like lots of chunky jewelry stacked together, that's usually like, it's an easy sign.
It's an easy sign.
Yeah,
Because it's
absolutely.
like your signature
signature look.
style also
Yeah.
kind of comes
Yeah.
in through.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how you are yourself is kind of like how you're projecting a bit of you
Of
onto
course.
other people.
And that's what makes the whole thing unique.
Yeah.
And everybody's look is then. a
Yeah, so like
different
you can
one.
give the same project to two different stylists,
Yeah.
and the look that you'll get by both of them eventually will be completely different. They might have some elements that are similar, but it comes down
Everyone
to
has their
natural
own
flair.
stamp.
Should ideally.
Yes. What?
What did you say? Sorry.
Ideally, everybody should have their own sort of unique.
Of course. I mean, like that comes to even like your personal style as
Yeah.
well, because it's who you are inherently,
Yeah.
and how you would like to dress and what you like to say, and how much confidence you have in what you're wearing. And you could wear like literally a potato sack
Yeah.
and rock it.
Yeah, which
and
they
legit
did, by the way. They
rock
put
it.
Marilyn Monroe in a potato sack and they shot her, and she looked fantastic.
Because of course.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but it's about the attitude.
Yeah.
Like, style is not what you're wearing. Style is inside you. It's the way you're sitting. It's the way your hand is moving. It's the way you flip your hair,
Yeah.
or the way you're interacting with people. That is style.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how you kind of put your clothes and all together is just, I think it's the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But I
And
think
to me, because I feel like the things that both of you are doing, the work that you do, there wasn't a sort of, it didn't exist maybe like even 15 years ago. There wasn't this idea that you could have an internet channel where you could have this platform, or even the idea of a stylist for famous people or for celebrities. And it's really telling, I think, and it's really interesting. And again, like you said, there's no template for it. And in Pakistan, I feel like there's particularly no template, because a lot of things this generation is at the sort of forefront of carving our own paths and figuring out our own ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And again, with the internet and with social media, there's more exposure to lots of ideas. And I suppose this is where the need for stylists also possibly comes, because I know that people in Hollywood have probably had a stylist for like decades now. But only now, celebrities now are sort of catching up with that.
Yeah, because I think when the social media boom happened, and then when there was an exchange of information, and then more publications, kind of international publications coming into Pakistan, that also really kickstarted the entire revolution almost. It all coincided. Your fashion industry was picking up. You had like an influx of international kind of material and outlook.
So it was sort of also raising the bar also.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you kind of realize like things that maybe people had been doing for a while. Like I started out as an assistant editor for Hello Pakistan, and maybe like 8 months into my job, I realized I'd been styling shoots for them because I didn't even know what it was called. I just looked at Rachel Zoe in her like fancy office and her fancy show, and I was not really realizing
I can do this.
But you don't even realize it. I think it's an
Absolutely.
evolution.
Yeah.
I think in today's day and age,
we got into it really organically.
it's a
I
very
feel.
no, but
Which is really great. And we're just going to take a quick break here and talk more about the evolution of these like amazing new projects. So stay with us and we'll be back in a minute. Hi, welcome back to the coffee table. I am having an uproarious time on set with these two fab boss queens, and we're talking about the evolution of Pakistan's fashion and style scene, and how these two got into it pretty organically. Because they're so talented; it just happened. You were like there. You were in the right place at the right time because both of you have a fashion journalism background, and then that's where it sort of began to take shape.
Yeah,
That's
because
really cool.
it is. Because I think the way I even landed up in journalism was completely by fluke. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Ah.
I took my LSATs and I wanted to go to law school.
Yeah.
And I was bored, and when I came back to Pakistan, I was bored through the summer. I was sitting at it, my mother was sick of me and she was like, get out, do something. I have spent a lot of time, energy and money putting you through schools and university, do something now. And I was like, okay. Didn't know what to do. I was like, it was like that quarter life crisis. You don't know where you belong, what you're doing. And
one is interested in things, but one is also, I don't think any of us grew up with this idea that I'm going to be a YouTube star.
No.
Because it didn't
can.
exist. It didn't exist. There was no such thing.
Yeah.
We weren't exposed to it.
And we had vague ideas of what we wanted to do. Like I vaguely always since childhood knew that I wanted to do something in fashion and entertainment and what exactly it was going to be, I had no clue. And if you'd asked me, I would have never been able to pinpoint it. But it just, like I'm sure with Momina, right place, right time, you just kind of got into it and then you realize, oh wait, not only am I halfway decent at it, I actually really enjoy doing this. So
make some money.
But it also is again, like I'm saying, it's evolutionary. If you ask me what I'll be doing 5 years from today, I don't know. And I like not knowing that.
It's not scary for you.
No, it's not scary because that's the beauty of life, right? This is a journey. Because if you had told me at the beginning of my career that my entire career is going to be thrown up in the air and I'm going to be thrown full throttle into something that I have absolutely no idea about and I have to start from scratch and kind of come here again, it's a scary thought.
Yes.
But those stepping stones, it's like everything is a stepping stone towards something. What MMP, that's what I call Momina's mixing is the abbreviation. The MMP is a stepping stone towards, I don't know yet.
And
But
anything
it
is possible.
Because it is. Anything is possible because in today's day and age, you're not one thing. Haiya is a writer and a stylist. She has a degree in literature and she went into fashion writing and then she went into styling and she could also go into acting and she could go into modeling and she could go into even production if she wants to. Right? So there's not one thing that you're associating yourselves with. If you pick up any doctor around the world, there are a lot of doctors and lawyers who have even food blogs, or they're traveling, or they're creating new things, or they're doing entrepreneurial stuff on the side. So it's not one thing anymore. You're not I'm just a doctor.
Yeah.
So you're not just one thing anymore. I'm an editor right now as well. I'm working on a project that's going digital in a month, and so I've set up the whole, layout
Enterprise,
exactly for it, and again, it's exciting because opportunities keep coming and you have to keep taking them.
Yeah, and that's crucial. Keep taking them, and everything leads to something else. But how do you guys feel as women in the fashion industry? Because it's always traditionally been seen as a female space. But because we exist within an overarching patriarchal framework, no space is really a female space. And both of you are doing things that are, again, that are new, it's uncharted waters to a great degree, even though there are more stylists now out there. And there are more people who are sort of aspiring YouTube stars as well. But how has it been for you guys? How has the journey been? Do you feel it's been sort of extra challenging?
I don't think so. I think it actually, it worked out. I think fashion and entertainment, as inherently misogynistic as they are, because there's so much internalized patriarchy and ideals.
And the whole idea of what women should look like in a beauty standard. And,
and like the funny thing is, not even the women that you see looking like that actually look like that in real life. So not like, even someone like Cara Delevingne, who's like the supermodel, eventually when she did retire at the age of 21.
Wow.
Okay.
So old.
So when she did retire at 21, she retired because she was depressed. She was chronically, clinically depressed, because walking into studios, she'd be told she wasn't good enough, she wasn't pretty enough, she wasn't tall enough or skinny enough. And this is someone who gets paid like $1 million just to show up because she looks like that. So apart from the inherent kind of double standards that exist, because that's just the kind of the structure of the world we live in, I think it's a great field for women, because there are a lot of females. Women are generally very helpful, like that idea of the catty fashion industry or the catty film industry or entertainment industry. It's not particularly true. There are catty people everywhere. I mean, you'd find a catty person in a bank branch as much as you would on set. And the thing with people on set or like a closed crews is, you have to spend an extended period of time with them, right? You can't really afford to have like serious paddas on set. And even if you do, you learn to put them aside, work together, and then like baad mein jaake, if you never want to see that person again, I never want to work with them again, that's a separate story. And you finish your project with as much cordialness as you possibly can.
So it's a professional workspace,
it's a very professional
as much as any other workspace should be. Because there's always also this idea, like I also read literature, and you know how it is, when people are like, oh, you just read books. And that's your education. You just read books.
You actually don't.
And you're like, no, actually, I read books, but then I also wrote like a 10,000-word paper on it. So it was not just reading books. In the same way...
I mean, you never really say that to someone who's doing a master's or PhD in mathematics, even though mathematics at that level is purely theoretical and entirely written down.
Or you could just be like, well, why don't you just use a calculator?
Exactly.
Why do you need to do a degree in math?
Yeah, why do you read? Why do you need books?
Yeah, why? What is it? But it's sort of seen as fluffy,
Yeah.
And this is where...
And very feminine also.
Feminine, and it's and again, sort of silly. That, oh, it's so silly to do this and to be bothered about clothes and aesthetics and makeup and so silly. But like MMP, for example, has so many things going on it.
Yeah.
And there's so much work that goes into it that you really can't underestimate the kind of
No, you can't underestimate
input that goes into it.
Look, nothing is fluff. Anything that's making you money is not fluff.
Yes.
I mean, fashion alone is like over $100 billion industry worldwide. I don't know if I got my number right, but
well, it's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's one of the largest industries in the world. As a country, what is Pakistan's main export?
It is a fashion.
Textile. Yeah. And what is textile? You're selling clothes.
Yeah.
Eventually, somebody's going to use that fabric and that textile to create some form of...
And haute couture does well.
China or like the Far East or India and their production capacities. Yes, there's tech, but then mostly it's also manufacturing in sweatshops for shoes, clothes, bags, like just
exactly.
It's all of that.
And it is a business. You have to take it. Yes, is it glamorous? On the outside, of course it is.
On the outside, I think is the most important thing to emphasize.
It's like behind closed doors, it's a different scene when you literally have a deadline and your hair is oily and you haven't washed it for 2 days and you're literally on the phone and trying to get an edit out or you're trying to negotiate a deal with a client. It's like any deal that you're going to negotiate. I mean, yes, you're not talking in millions of dollars at the moment, but you are talking still, it's still money coming in. You still have to pay salaries.
Yeah.
You still have to pay your rent and your electricity bills. It is a proper business.
Yeah. Like any other business. And then I feel like there's that added pressure as well that, for example, if you were selling a thing, right? If you were printing books as a publisher, your face is not on the book, right? No. It's about the product. But in this sort of industry, you are the product.
It's personal branding.
Exactly.
It is
personal branding is the term. I'm learning every day. I'm just like, oh yes, personal.
Yeah, but it's again, like where you are sitting, it's also, now that other terms are thrown at you, like, like micro-influencing. So you're kind of influencing other people to buy things that you believe in or you have tried out, right? So those are other things that you're kind of now dabbling into. So it's not as boxed in as you would like to say, but you are like you eventually become a brand on your own and you're leveraging yourself. That's what you're doing. People are coming to you not because of a video that you created or a shoot that you just styled. They're coming in for the entire experience, right? So I mean, Haiya's like doing so well, and the reason is because of not just that she can put clothes together, she can stack jewelry, but it's the whole ideology from like beginning till the end. That like a client is coming in and they're getting a service that's tailor-made from the get-go, from the concept till the execution. And that's what you're looking at, right? So you're not just looking at that one thing. So obviously then she is the brand and the face of her business.
Yeah, and that's a great deal of pressure, I imagine, as well. And does that mean that you always have to be sort of conscious of the way that you present to the world as well, that people will gauge your skills depending on
I'm the worst person to ask this. Like, sure, if I know I have like a fashion, like if I have like a work meeting and I have to look presentable, then I will make an effort. But other than that, like I think finally, like after maybe 6 years on Instagram or 7 years on Instagram, maybe this year at some point, I went from a private account to a public account because I just, I can't do this personal branding. I can't do personal branding. I don't understand it. I'm not an influencer. I never want to be. I don't want to sell you things at all. And it's something that I have actually struggled with because in the world that we are in now, social media plays a massive role. And what your personal branding or whatever you're kind of putting up on your Instagram or whatever, it counts towards your image, okay? This like facade that you're building up for people to kind of buy into or whatever it is. And honestly, I can't be bothered. So my Instagram just has like random photos of me doing things or my friends or whatever it is. And if you want to speak to me about work, I have a very large body of work that I'm willing to share with you. But if you're going to my social media to look for, whether I'm a great stylist or not, most likely you're just going to find me, find photos of me making weird faces. That's it.
But how refreshing. No, we're going to talk more about this, but we're just going to quickly cut to a very tiny break. Come back soon because we're having fun. See you in a minute. Hi, welcome back to The Fun Sofa. We're talking to Momina, Sibtain and Haiya Bokhari about all sorts of fabulous things. So Glam Squad, we were talking about, I've been calling them Glam Squad all evening.
I'm really not glam, she's glam today. I'm very understated.
No, this is still extremely glam. Like, I love your jeans. Tell me about your jeans. You can't really see them, but there's a snippet of poetry on Momina's jeans.
So I lost a very dear friend of mine earlier this year to suicide.
I'm so sorry.
My sister wrote a poem, and I took that poem, a verse from the poem, and I put that on this jean. Like a friend of mine, she actually makes them. So this side says, "I will find the chaotic ones, the rebels, the misfits."
I love that.
And that's kind of like, I think resonates with me and my friend. And this side says #alive, which means she's alive with me always.
That's so beautiful. And I really feel like as women, the value of being the rebels and the misfits, I don't know, I feel like it becomes kind of doubly important to get out there. And if you have a vision that's different and you have something different to say and you have something that you want to do that hasn't been done before.
Or if you just see an injustice and you're like, no, I'm not going to let this go down anymore, you know?
And there's a lot of that's been sort of happening, especially in the sort of entertainment industry, where a lot of sort of things that happen behind closed doors are sort of being talked about more. And it just kind of, I wonder about this, about like the ethic, just feel like the internet can be a scary place.
It's a very scary place.
And it's a very vulnerable place, especially for women.
We lost 2 models last year to depression and suicide because of such reasons of social media trolling. It's a problem. And I can tell you, I mean, like, Haiya is telling you that she's just come onto like a public platform now. When I came, like it took like, you remember, I never had a public account. My private account is where I have the most amount of fun, and it's like my fun.
It's your
space.
personal space.
It's my personal space. But when I came out, like like people who know me like know that I have the most outrageous laugh.
Yeah.
I
Of course,
laugh.
it's a signature laugh.
It's a signature laugh, and I love it. I enjoy it. Nobody's ever like, if you love it, you love it. You hate it, you hate it. I've never apologized for it or my personality.
Yeah.
But when
And
you come
neither
out-
should you.
No, you shouldn't. But I'm saying that like
Yeah.
when you come out into the public sphere, you need to. I mean, the biggest thing, two things. You laugh like a donkey.
Rude.
Yeah. Please learn how to laugh. You sound like a retarded person. Can you believe that? Imagine how politically incorrect is that? And these are things that are written
Insensitive and terrible.
and terrible. But the point is that in a country where there is so much poverty, there's so much sadness, there's so much depression, people will find a way to criticize. I realize anything. So they will not even let you be happy. So if you're laughing, now there's a problem with your laugh.
Yeah.
If you're wearing something, like I was recently talking to someone about this, that we have inherently become so hypocritical as a nation. All of us are hypocrites. How I'm dressed here, how you're dressed, or how you're dressed sitting in Pakistan on this set is not what you'd be dressed like if you were out of Pakistan. Your attire, your demeanor, your everything would change. What social media is doing is that it has brought
The outside world into the
world
inside.
to the inside. Now what's happening is that like there's that socioeconomic barrier has broken.
Yes.
You know that there was
It's
always
more porous
a
now.
curtain on things, and that curtain has been lifted.
So it's just that things have become so much more accessible now, right? Like fashion or luxury goods, which were always the domain of the elite, or good art or good movies, which were only kind of limited to people who had like a particular taste or moved around in a particular circle. All those barriers have been broken.
And in a
so
way,
the
it
outside
should be great that it's more
Yeah.
democratic and there's more access, and there's also more access to people.
So the problem is like we see men say heinous things and do heinous things on
Men
social
do heinous
media
things. Men write
all
heinous
the
things.
time.
No, it's women. Mostly it's women. It's like, we are all like we're talking all about, and like we should raise this point is that a woman is a woman's worst enemy.
No, I think that's a little.
No, it is.
I think
Because
I think that's an
I'm
unfair
talking
statement
about-
to kind of make because there's so much internalized misogyny
Yes, I
that it's
do
very,
think-
very
that
difficult.
I agree with you. There's also a lot of internalized patriarchy in that manner
Yes,
as
and the
well.
thing is, a lot of people, patriarchy also sets up women to compete against each other.
Exactly.
So
And
then
they
we
want
kind
you
of
to
get
actually
sucked into
believe.
that vicious cycle.
Yeah,
as
and they
well.
want you to believe that you and I cannot have the same goals and you and I cannot be friends. But the only thing that I've realized is
No, I'm not meaning in that manner. Like, I'm not meaning in a professional manner.
No,
I'm even talking about
generally.
on social media.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Absolutely.
That
But I
if
also
you
find it
read
so
the
that's a
comments,
structural issue.
90%
I
of them.
genuinely think it's a structural problem rather than just something.
But that's
that-
world over.
And yeah, definitely, it's world
And the thing
over.
is that I feel like
Absolutely.
sort of bringing it back to sort of our part of the world. And again, because this is, do you think that people are so nasty on social media about difference? Because I think like we are getting increasingly more hysterical about difference. Somehow it panics people to see things done differently. And this the work that you both do is very different. Again, there's no precedent for it. It hasn't been seen before. And isn't it kind of weird that the audience that is consuming the work you do and appreciating it and subscribing and sharing it and liking it and sending you nice comments as well is also the same audience that is saying that you look like a fool, you sound like a fool.
Yeah, that it is. But that's again, it's a perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because it's completely, it's out of the norm.
Yes.
They're not used to seeing women out there talking, having a voice, or sitting next to even a man and talking to them like an equal, or being in a very friendly, casual manner.
Public space.
Public space.
Yeah.
But now what digital is doing is bringing private, public, right? So it's kind of bringing those kind of interactions. There's things that you can't do on television that you can do on
a YouTube channel.
on digital. Because you don't have those restrictions, you know, on what to say, what to wear.
There's no PEMRA
how-
kind of regulating whatever your content is. There's you're entitled to your opinion. But that's the other thing, right? Like, and I always genuinely say this, and I feel terrible saying it. But just because you have an opinion doesn't mean you should voice it.
Agreed.
Right? Like,
I agree with you.
I mean, it's the same thing, like our grandmothers used to kind of say, which is if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I agree with you.
So, I mean, I don't understand if you dislike something, if you dislike a person's laugh or their style or whatever morality they're representing, there's an unfollow button. Just go,
it.
press it, and then there you go. There's no need for you to spew vitriol over anyone else's kind of comment section or timeline or whatever it is. And it just...
Or bring that negativity into your own life.
Yeah.
If something is not, if I don't
Absolutely.
like something, I'm just gonna press like X it out and exit. And that's the end of it, because I'm not really gonna bother wasting my time, because that's like time and energy I ain't getting back.
Yeah.
Get it? Like, it ain't coming back.
And again, because we're sort of moving, we are working in an let's say this is a sort of a social arena where we don't have any, the rules aren't very clear.
Sure.
So how do we sort of help educate audiences to be better? Because again, there's only growth in this particular kind of industry if people are supportive of it.
Yeah. So so I just have one kind of little bit of advice to give. When you feel very strongly about a particular subject, when you come across something on the internet, whether it's a video or a photograph of someone wearing a particular outfit or whatever it is, and it infuriates you or angers you or kind of evokes like a really negative response.
Strong opinion.
Negative.
Negative. Okay.
Negative.
Write out whatever you want to. Yeah, jo bhi hai. Write out whatever you want to. Oh my God, this is way harder than I actually anticipated. So you can write it out and then read it out to yourself and ask yourself, how would I like if someone spoke to me like that or said this to
You
me?
said it to someone's face.
And if your answer at the end of reading that comment is, I would not like it,
Yes.
don't post it. Just, it's
I agree
fair.
with you.
Very simple
Very
litmus
fair.
test.
Also, the two things. One thing is that there's a screen dividing.
Yes.
But what people forget is that people on the other side of the screen
As
also human
yeah.
beings.
Human beings,
They're
exactly.
humans.
Yeah.
And just
They
because there's a picture that's really beautiful and someone's maybe styled really well and looking great and it's lit well, it doesn't mean that that person that's a mannequin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a person,
It's a person.
who
With
is
feelings.
reading.
And
With
with
writing.
Yeah.
And exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing is that you are entitled to your opinion. Okay, not all opinions. It's okay to have an opinion.
Yeah.
If you have an opinion, that is, write it in a way that is constructive. That if I will learn from something, like, okay, I can write under your thing, it was a terrible show, I hated it. Okay?
Don't say that.
Or if I didn't like something,
Yeah.
I could say that, Mina, I think your sound was a bit off. Have you tried this equipment? Can you check it out? Like, I don't know, there's something off here. Or would you like, it'd be interesting to see you doing something different, or like maybe touch upon this topic. Now,
which would be useful and could be used to improve instead of just sort of shoot somebody down and be like, I don't
but
care.
we're so used to doing that, like dismissing someone's hard work. It's like that. It takes a second to dismiss it.
Like we were talking
And somehow
about Tony.
on the internet, I don't think people see it as real work.
No, they don't.
And that's also
yeah,
a big problem.
That's a big problem. Like we were talking about Toni Morrison, where she, how she passed away, unfortunately. But she said something, it was in relationship to race, but I think it applies to everything in life. If you can only stand tall when someone else is on their knees, you have a big problem.
Yeah.
Toni Morrison.
You know, so, and it's genuinely true, whether it's fashion, work, whatever it is. It's
Corporate world,
only,
any world.
Or just your personal life, your interpersonal relationships with your friends or whatever. If you're kind of stuck with a friend or stuck with someone who's very toxic and constantly feels the need to make you, to kind of look down upon you in order to make themselves feel good, this is an insecure person and you generally don't need them in life. So, you know,
especially
kindness,
as women, we have to be sort of doubly careful because people
absolutely.
just tend to criticize women in the public eye much more.
We breathe and we're worthy of criticism.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
gosh.
like exactly. You're right. Like you have you talk, you're unladylike. You know, you speak
Laugh,
up
you're
about
unladylike,
You're
yeah.
unladylike. So a lot of people are like, oh, laugh like a lady. I'm like, can you please send me? I respond to that. I'm like, can you please send me a manual of what it is to be a lady? Please do.
I usually don't read comments under my shows, but apparently somebody said that you sound very fake. I'm like, that's because you don't know me.
Yeah.
I'm just like this.
At all times, if you see Mina like outside, like at a dinner or something,
I think you're more animated, in fact, if anything.
Yeah, I think you're
rather than
toned
less.
down on the show.
Yeah, I've got like the power of the sofa. The power of the sofa. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to have to wrap up the show now. It's such a great conversation. I had such a great time. Thank you, both of you, for being here and talking about such important and valuable things. And good luck and Godspeed, clever girls. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure that you had really just as good a time as I had with my Glam Squad, and we will see you next time on the coffee table. Bye now.